Fox News has been exposed. The real reason they fired Geraldo Rivera has been revealed. Geraldo gave Fox everything: sharp commentary, biting wit, and progressive views that rattled conservative audiences night after night. But then something changed. Suddenly, after 23 years, Fox kicked him out and gave him a rushed, polished goodbye that didn't match reality. They said he had crossed the line Fox could never publicly admit existed. So what line did he cross, and why did Fox try to hide the reality? On June 21, 2023, Wednesday morning, Geraldo posts online that he was leaving The Five, the Fox talk show he was a member of. His post was professional, gracious, thankful. But there was something else lurking underneath, something dark. There had been growing tension that went beyond editorial differences and personal annoyances and gripes that he could no longer ignore. Who or what was behind these differences? 8 days passed, then came the shocking news. Geraldo didn't leave The Five. Fox actually fired him from the show. And because of that, Geraldo was out of Fox News. So which story is the truth? Did he quit The Five like he said on June 21st? Or did he get fired 8 days later like he said on June 29th? Whichever it was, Fox News panicked. Their PR team scrambled immediately. They put out a statement within hours that they had reached an amicable end with Geraldo. The next morning, on June 30th, Geraldo appears on Fox and Friends for his official send-off. They run a slick video package: his Emmy Awards, his Peabody Award, war correspondence from Iraq and Afghanistan, investigative journalism from the 70s, exposing Willowbrook, all the highlights, all the achievements. The hosts smile, say nice things. Geraldo thanks everyone, says he loves Fox. But does he really? So what really happened? Why the contradiction? Why the desperate cover-up? To understand that, you need to know about the man who Geraldo absolutely hates: Greg Gutfeld. That's the name Geraldo wouldn't say when he mentioned growing tensions. The two had an absolutely toxic relationship, and when the two disagreed, Fox executives always favored Greg over every single dispute, at least according to Geraldo. Greg Gutfeld is the host of the late-night comedy show Gutfeld, regular panelist on The Five, and according to Geraldo, the primary reason his time at Fox became impossible. Let us be clear about something. The Five isn't a debate show. Never has been. It's a conservative echo chamber with one token liberal thrown in to create the illusion of balance. 4 conservatives, 1 liberal, every single episode. The liberals' job is simple: lose, take your beating, make the conservatives look smart, shut up and accept it. That's what Fox wanted. That's what Juan Williams did for years before leaving in 2021. That's what they expected Geraldo to do when he joined in January 2022. But Geraldo didn't do that. He fought back, hard, loud, aggressive, and Greg Gutfeld hated him for it. Absolutely despised him. You could see it on camera. The contempt, the dismissiveness, the personal attacks disguised as political disagreement. Their fights went beyond normal television conflict. They were venomous, cruel, personal. If you think we are exaggerating, let's walk you through the moments that revealed just how toxic their relationship really was. On May 4, 2022, there was a Supreme Court leak, a draft opinion showing the court is about to overturn Roe v. Wade. They're discussing abortion on The Five. Gutfeld is celebrating, saying this is why pro-lifers win. He claims pro-choice people don't have the guts to state their case plainly. Geraldo fires back, and the two really get into it and trade insults freely. It was ugly to watch. As the two continued, the studio went quiet. The other hosts froze, not knowing what to do. This isn't a TV conflict anymore. This is real hatred spilling out on live television. The segment ended awkwardly and everyone moved on. They were supposed to, but did they really? The damage is done. Millions of people just watched 2 grown men nearly come to blows over abortion rights. But it gets worse. Before May 2022, in September 2021, they were discussing immigration, specifically the controversy about Border Patrol agents on horseback dealing with Haitian migrants at the southern border. Gutfeld makes comments about rising violent crime. Geraldo interprets it as linking Haitian immigrants to crime, accuses Gutfeld of making stereotypical connections about Haitians. Gutfeld exploded and accused Geraldo of embarrassing him. "Well, be embarrassed," Geraldo shot back. The shouting escalated, both men talking over each other. Gutfeld demanded that Geraldo apologize, but Geraldo didn't, and insisted that Gutfeld was making unfair linkages. And so the argument spiraled. Other hosts tried to intervene and calm them down. They even tried to change the subject, but these two men hate each other. You can see it, feel it through the screen. And then there's the vaccine fight. This one crossed into threats of physical violence. So they were debating COVID vaccines, mandates, personal choice. Gutfeld and Jesse Waters were teaming up against Geraldo and accuse him of insulting people who refuse vaccination. Geraldo had been calling unvaccinated people arrogant, selfish SOBs. He had taken a hardline stance that vaccination should be mandatory. Gutfeld brought up bodily autonomy and said it was his body, his choice. Geraldo said this was an exception. Then he looked directly at Gutfeld, pointed his finger and said he would beat Gutfeld up if he came close to any of his family members without getting vaccinated. That changed the mood of the studio. This was a direct physical threat, but Gutfeld didn't escalate and the other hosts quickly jumped in immediately to move past it. But everybody saw what just happened. Geraldo Rivera threatened Greg Gutfeld with violence on live national television. These fights happened over and over. Abortion, immigration, vaccines, gun control, electric vehicles. Every topic became a battleground. Every disagreement became personal. And according to Geraldo, Fox executives always took Gutfeld's side. Always. When the two of them clashed, management favored Gutfeld, protected Gutfeld, gave Gutfeld more airtime while quietly reducing Geraldo's appearances. Geraldo thought it was very unfair. He claimed he enjoyed being on the Five, but the feeling wasn't mutual. It felt like Fox was punishing him for crossing a line they didn't tell him existed. Little did Gerald know that there was one line he would cross, and there would be no way back. You see, the Gutfeld conflict wasn't the only reason Fox wanted him gone. There was another factor, another controversy, another line he'd crossed that made him too dangerous to keep around. Tucker Carlson, the breaking point. Tucker Carlson was untouchable at Fox News, the biggest star they'd ever had, pulling in millions of viewers every single night at 8 o'clock. His show, Tucker Carlson Tonight, dominated cable news, made Fox hundreds of millions of dollars in advertising revenue. Tucker could say almost anything and get away with it. Almost anything. Then came January 6, 2021, when thousands of Trump supporters stormed the Capitol building trying to stop the certification of Joe Biden's election victory. People died. Police officers were beaten. Tucker Carlson suggested the FBI had orchestrated the whole thing, that it was a false flag operation designed to make Trump supporters look bad, that the real criminals were federal agents provocateurs planted in the crowd to incite violence. Do you think Tucker had a point, or was what he said absolute garbage? Tucker kept pushing it and interviewed people who claimed January 6th wasn't what it looked like. In October 2021, Tucker announced a documentary series for Fox Nation called Patriot Purge. The trailer was intense. It suggested the Capitol attack was staged by the government, that there was a new war on terror being waged against conservatives, that January 6th defendants were political prisoners. Geraldo saw that trailer and couldn't stay quiet. He posted on Twitter rubbishing the claims. He said they were inflammatory and outrageous and uncorroborated. He told the New York Times that Tucker was being provocative rather than illuminating, that there are some things you say that are more inflammatory than others. Geraldo said messing around with January 6th stuff was dangerous and irresponsible. Do you think he has a point? Geraldo said what happened was a riot that was incited and encouraged and unleashed by Donald Trump, not by the FBI, not by secret agents, by Trump himself and his allies who refused to accept electoral defeat. But was this really? As it turned out, in 2025, it was discovered that BBC altered Trump's speech to make it seem like he was encouraging destruction. Did the BBC do it on their own? Or did someone or an organization encourage them to do so? What Geraldo said about Tucker created massive problems for Geraldo at Fox. The network was standing behind Tucker and defended his theories, allowing him to spread his views about the election and January 6th because it brought in viewers and money. And here was Geraldo, another Fox personality, publicly calling out those views and openly contradicting the network's narrative, making them look bad. But Geraldo didn't stop, couldn't stop. Every time Tucker pushed the false flag narrative, Geraldo spoke out against it. Every time Tucker talked about January 6th, Geraldo was there to counter him. This went on for months. The tension building and management was getting more and more frustrated. Then, in April 2023, everything changed. Tucker Carlson got fired. It came completely out of nowhere, shocked the entire media world. One day, Tucker was the king of cable news. The next day, he was gone, erased. Fox announced his departure on April 24, 2023, just days after settling a massive defamation lawsuit with Dominion Voting Systems for $787.5 million, nearly $800 million, one of the largest media settlements in American history. Dominion had sued Fox for deliberately spreading the narrative that voting machines were rigged. The lawsuit revealed internal Fox emails showing executives knew the election fraud claims were false, but let their hosts promote them anyway because it was good for ratings, good for business. The settlement was devastating, humiliating, and Tucker paid the price. When Tucker got fired, Geraldo didn't pretend to be sad about it, didn't offer condolences or sympathies. Within 48 hours, he posted online about Tucker Carlson and his January 6th theory. Those words hit like a bomb at Fox News. Here was Geraldo, still a Fox personality, publicly celebrating Tucker's firing and doubling down on his criticism, calling Tucker's theories perverse, calling them garbage, directly contradicting 2 years of Fox's editorial stance, making the network look foolish for having defended Tucker for so long. Fox executives were furious, absolutely livid. How dare Geraldo criticize Tucker right after his departure? How dare he make the network look bad? How dare he tell the truth when Fox had spent millions of dollars trying to obscure it? So Fox suspended Geraldo, but quietly. They pulled him off the air. Then his appearances on The Five started getting canceled. First occasionally, then regularly, then almost completely. According to transcript searches, Geraldo hadn't appeared on The Five since May 24, 2023. He'd only been on a handful of times in the month before that. He was being systematically erased from the network's programming, pushed out slowly, punished for telling the truth about Tucker and January 6th. So when Fox executives called him in mid-June to say he was fired from The Five, it wasn't a surprise. It was the inevitable conclusion of months of tension, months of punishment, months of Fox trying to silence him. They offered him other roles, other shows, but Geraldo knew what they were. Demotions dressed up as opportunities, ways to keep him under contract and keep him quiet. He still has 1.5 years left on his contract and could just wait it out and earn guaranteed money. But he looked at those offers and said no. If you're firing me from your #1 show, he told them, then I'm going to quit. And he did. Walked away from 1.5 years of guaranteed money. Walked away from Fox News after 23 years because his ideology didn't fit anymore. Because he refused to lie about January 6th. Because he wouldn't stop criticizing Tucker's theories, even when it cost him everything. The thing is, underneath all the personal conflicts, underneath the Gutfeld fights and the Tucker criticism, there was a deeper problem, a fundamental incompatibility that Fox could no longer tolerate. Geraldo Rivera was actually liberal. That sounds obvious, but think about what it means. Fox wanted a token liberal. Someone who would push back gently but ultimately lose most arguments. Someone who would make conservatives look reasonable and well-informed by comparison. Someone who would play their role in the carefully choreographed theater of cable news debate. Geraldo refused to do that. He went hard on every issue, defended abortion rights, supported vaccine mandates, criticized police brutality, called out racism and xenophobia when he saw it, attacked Trump's election claims, condemned the January 6th insurrection. These weren't positions he held quietly or privately. He argued with them forcefully on air. He fact-checked his colleagues. He brought receipts. He made conservatives look bad sometimes. And Fox couldn't have that. When Geraldo appeared on The View in July 2023, he finally said it plainly. "My ideology does not fit Fox." Those were his exact words. He explained that the network always kind of squeezed him in despite his more progressive stances, that they tolerated him as long as he stayed in his lane, as long as he played the role they wanted. But when he stepped outside that lane, when he challenged Tucker or defended his positions too effectively, they pushed back, hard. He described being the odd man out as increasingly challenging, said the show's tone grew more combative, more personal, more hostile. Said there was growing tension that goes beyond editorial differences and personal annoyances and gripes. Translation? They didn't just disagree with his politics. They hated him for having them. They resented his presence. They wanted him gone. and they got their wish. After 23 years of service, of loyalty, of delivering content and ratings, Fox News fired Geraldo Rivera from their #1 show because he wouldn't stop being liberal, because he wouldn't shut up about Tucker's claims, because he wouldn't pretend January 6th was anything other than what it was, because his ideology didn't fit their corporate narrative anymore. The network tried to spin it as mutual, amicable, a natural conclusion, but Geraldo exposed that lie, posted online that he got fired, appeared on The View saying they pushed him out, told anyone who would listen that Fox favored Gutfeld in every dispute, that they reduced his appearances, that they suspended him for criticizing Tucker, that they offered him meaningless roles to keep him quiet. Fox News fired Geraldo Rivera because in conservative media in 2023, telling a different story about January 6th, about Tucker Carlson, about Trump's lies, is a fireable offense. So Geraldo got fired, got pushed out, got erased from Fox News after 23 years. End of story, right? He rides off into the sunset, retires, disappears, not even close. 7 months after leaving Fox, in February 2024, Geraldo found a new home. News Nation announced he would join as correspondent-at-large. News Nation is Nexstar Media's attempt at centrist cable news. They've been quietly hiring former Fox personalities who left or got pushed out. Leland Vittert, Chris Steyerwalt, Laura Ingle, people who got tired of Fox's hard right turn, people who wanted to do actual journalism again. Geraldo fit perfectly. Made his first appearance on February 14, 2024 on Cuomo, the primetime show hosted by Chris Cuomo, himself a refugee from CNN. News Nation's president called Geraldo a legendary journalist whose talent and experience is unrivaled. Whether you agree with that or not, Geraldo brings name recognition, 50 years in television, multiple Emmys, a Peabody Award, war correspondence, investigative journalism. He's still a top draw. And here's what matters. Geraldo didn't fade away, didn't disappear, didn't let Fox silence him. At 82 years old, he's still on television multiple times a week offering political commentary and breaking news analysis. He maintains his website with updates and videos and opinion pieces. He writes columns for outlets like the Long Island Press about immigration and law enforcement and current events. He's active on X, posting constantly about politics and family and whatever else crosses his mind. He lives in Shaker Heights, Ohio in his wife's dream house and shares fitness videos and holiday posts with his grandchildren. He's semi-retired from daily hosting but fully engaged in journalism and commentary. Still relevant, still fighting, still refusing to shut up even though it cost him his career at Fox. That's the real story here. Not that Fox fired him, but he wouldn't stop saying his opinions even when they punished him for it, even when they suspended him, even when they reduced his appearances, even when they fired him from their #1 show. He kept speaking out about Tucker's claims, kept defending his liberal positions, kept calling Greg Gutfeld an insulting punk on live television, kept being himself even when Fox wanted him to be someone else. And now he's at News Nation doing the same thing. Still liberal, still outspoken, still refusing to play the game. Fox thought firing him would silence him, thought pushing him out would make him go away. But Geraldo Rivera at 82 is doing exactly what he was doing at Fox, telling the truth, challenging power, refusing to shut up. That's why his story matters. Not because he got fired, but because he didn't let getting fired stop him.